One premise of thought: to be able to block, ban, or kill, you must first fully understand it. Second premise of all writings: just because it offends you doesn't mean it is offensive. When any person sits in judgment of anything, you've heard of their acts on television news as they go off the rails and start infringing upon the rights of everyone within the community and within their area when they ban or burn books. The books which they propose to kill, they propose to strip knowledge from their hands and mouths, turning them into blind and leave proposing to rip from the hands of their children, not just their children, but from any child, every child, regardless of what they or their family may believe, regardless of what their family may think, from every child under the age of 18. For these people, high school educated, but quit college, we didn't need all that for our lives, while placing themselves above everyone and taking on the role of the Almighty, have come to judge these particular books as abominations, as the means of the devil to enter the minds of children, as the highway by which demons will take them over. They openly admit to not having read any of them fully, and those who did start to read, we, being good Christians, simply couldn't understand what they write. And the books they wish to burn now, in the 21st century, are books that started on the shelf over 100 years ago, offending no one but the occasional zealot, and only the privately virtuous, living healthy lives, but privately feeling guilt for the thought of a racy or sexual nature. So now, these privately virtuous are now publicly prudish, openly pushing their methods of praying, reading the Bible, and working together on everyone. For they are self-published authors of multiple books on faith and family, faith and parenting, faith and life together. So these parents are righteous and live to tell others how to better and more righteously parent their own slag of a daughter and their satyr-like sons. In their younger years, before becoming parents, they recall reading books like these, and they recall what they felt. Oh, what they felt. And knowing what they felt in their bodies and the images that erupted in their minds, they knew that they must remove any chance of these feelings or the mental imagery created in their teens' minds from ever being initiated again. When they read out the titles as those condemned to death, you gasp, then grow angry. For these are classics of American and English literature. These books had been your best friends. They had always been waiting for you upon your bed or on the shelf above it. You've read these books to your kids and your grandkids. Who the hell are these uneducated nobodies to say Brideshead Revisited promotes a homosexual lifestyle? No, but it puts war in a negative light rather than the heraldic crap of the time, and speaks to the horrific effects on the minds of the young, too young of men. We call it PTSD and treat it. In the First World War, they called it battle fatigue and blamed the young men for getting it, thus creating the highest rate of self-inflicted gunshot rates in any single war, so that they had a wound to show when they went home, or they suicided, euphemistically buying the farm, as it occurred in a farmer's field 99% of the time. They also wish to ban all books by either of the Waugh sisters. For instance, Anne of Green Gables portrayed families in an inaccurate and negative light. Yes, being raped by your father and his brothers usually does portray a family in a negative light. Tom Sawyer, showing white boys making friends with the black, working together in an unrealistic manner. Oh yeah, that's something we wouldn't want to promote. Huck Finn, same as Tom Sawyer. Little Women. Oh, don't get me started on this. Oh, we're gonna ban Pride and Prejudice as altogether too racy, too very sexual, and 5 other Austen books too. Oh, these people really need to learn how to read. Now, in 2017, they have added J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings for, quote, inappropriately displaying wars that boys can fight in, for the inaccurate and inappropriate portrayal of a fraternal order, which would include many, quote, species of human, Ilven, or ogre. These are humans with a skin disease. It's very curable. You shouldn't make fun of them. Hobbits, see no v ogre, and work together in an equitable fashion to save the world. You cannot save the world just on your own. You must work within your government. Oh, blah. In this process of burning and banning the books, they are revealing their own judgments against their teen selves. For how else would this woman know that the Elven Lord was written to be so very sexy, and also with every quality that these humans didn't have? Loyalty, fidelity unto death to their mates, and an ability to talk telepathically to their mate of their fears, their endless love, and a desire to be returned to their love soon. Become like a human male. You're lucky if you can get him to admit to the type of chips he likes, much less the soda too. So talking of the great J.R.R. Tolkien books proposed to be banned, including The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings trilogy, they highlight within themselves their actions, their sexual responses, and why they propose to ban this book. Because of what they did and don't want their kids ever to do. By banning and burning books, these parents banish the children to being as insular, parochial, and illiterate as themselves are. Unless their children are courageous enough to defy the anti-Christian behavior, this generation will be first to go backwards, being more similar to the grandparents than to any peer group in any locality. Why do that to these beautiful children? These are the parents who bought computers to read stories to their children because they were too busy. But they didn't keep up the subscription. They didn't ever have time because of the very vital needs at the office, etc. That is how it starts. But that wouldn't have happened if you'd not read it in a book. If you'd actually opened a damn book yourself, you would then know of what your children read. The children of these parents never learn the concept of courage, bravery, fidelity, fraternity. One of them answered in response to what is fraternity, that's a house you can live in at college, right? You party all the time, and right? And another answered, oh, is that like that secret society my dad belongs to? What a joke. He changes, steps out, all super secret spy man. He speaks to no one after he's changed, just leaves. What if he kisses his wife or children goodbye? Is he no longer manly enough for this? The family, they say they are family oriented. Well, they can kiss my very smooth buttocks with that statement. They're as family oriented as the cheese that's on my pizza. Just because you are offended doesn't mean you are right. Every action reveals so much of that person, for the opposite was also a choice. So look and listen to determine what is causing this massive and unrealistic overreaction. Why are they now saying we must ban these books, we must burn these books? And why must the entire town participate? Everyone's children, not just their little school. Why must the public high school participate? What has happened?